I remember when I used to go to Yosemite with my family. My dad one time took the wrong turn on Highway 1 and we were lost for 3 hours before we finally figured out that mistake. At the time, I was so pissed at my dad, but mistakes like this one were ones I was soon gonna miss. I get why they did it. Humans were far from perfect. 40,000 people died in the year 2017 alone from human error-related car accidents. And politicians would make brash decisions based on their current mood and emotions rather than the optimal strategy based on the facts given. It was becoming clear that humans didn't have answers for incredibly important questions in life. So when the US government unveiled Slate to the world, it was almost like we were saving ourselves from ourselves. Slate is a little device that fits comfortably in the amygdala of all humans that gives verbal instructions to the user on how to handle or act in any situation. In times where the device saw fit, the device could even control the user in order to save them. It was created by a famous neuroscience and philosopher, Arnold King, whose book, The Objectiveness of Subjectiveness, argued that emotions clouded your judgment, leading to bad decision-making. This device used a decision-making algorithm that followed a step-by-step process for answering almost every conceivable question the world had to offer. Need to know the problem to a PhD-level calculus problem? Slate had the answer. Want to know the best way to handle the Palestine-Israel conflict? Slate had an outcome to the decision based purely on facts of the parties involved. Never again would human error lead to the death of so many young people in our society. Mistakes like the wrong turn my dad made would never happen again. We were going to be more efficient. For the first couple of months, Slate worked perfectly. Our society had never been more efficient with our tasks. Our reasoning had never seemed more objective than now. Sure, there were skeptics, myself included, but the idea that all humans now had the ability to achieve an equal good for society regardless of race or gender was revolutionary. While Slate gave decisions on complicated foreign policy issues, the moral gray area of these arguments seemed to bring up one of Slate's first big problems: programmer biases. Slate was based on objectivity, but objectivity had to be programmed by humans who largely based their actions on subjective reasoning. Iran, for example, argued that they were constantly getting the short end of the stick in regards to trade deals created by Slate. And they cited the fact that 3 programmers of Slate had posted anti-Iran sentiments online before Slate was released. I think the real turning point in our relationship with Slate was when the earthquake of 2021 hit Los Angeles. It was a 7.5 magnitude earthquake, and it hit incredibly close to downtown. As we all watched in horror, we saw Slate navigate people to safety. Instead of mothers trying to help save their children, they were forced to run away from the scene, as this was the correct decision to maintain their safety, according to Slate. Remember, Slate could control people's actions when it felt that the safety of the user was unquestionably in danger. In our quest to eliminate human error, we also seem to have eliminated the emotions and the biology that go along with the error. Human decisions have largely been based on the situational factors associated with them, which didn't have any right answers. In this binary world, however, the right answers weren't necessarily the answers that made our lives better. Was the most efficient and safe life the best way for humans to live? I said no. I think a large portion of our country was starting to figure out that we didn't want to always be right. I used to cringe every time I got a bad score on a test, but there was something incredibly satisfying about learning from our mistakes. There wasn't any ability to learn from our mistakes anymore, though. There wasn't an ability to learn in general. I was one of the first people to do the Slate removal surgery, which the government soon allowed post-earthquake. To me, mistakes like the one my dad made was what made us human. Instead of knowing the answers to life's questions, I figured it was better to learn for myself.